Welcome aboard, everyone. Simon here from the Worlds of Wall Street. So I've had demand in the comments to try and do more XPR Proton videos as we go along. So we're going to try to at least do one every 2 days, but I couldn't resist doing one today, guys, because we'll go into the chart in a second. But there's a couple of things I wanted to point out about Proton blockchain in the last few days. So this recent update about a day and a half ago now, over 50,000 unique accounts have already been created on the Proton blockchain, which is absolutely phenomenal growth from a project that is so young. I mean, I appreciate the social media and everything started around March 2020, but actually the project itself is still so early. And when we go into the chart, I'll make a few observations and thoughts. Some people have been asking where's a good entry point. Let's take a look at that in a second for sure. And of course, we had interesting information recently as well about Cardano being added to the system. Now, those that don't know about Proton or are interested, go and watch an intro video. We'll put a link at the end of this one for sure, as well as a how to stake video as well if you're interested in staking or XPR tokens. But the whole mechanism of this system within Proton as being a wallet, of course, is the ability to swap tokens without any gas fees whatsoever. And they've just recently launched things like the NFT programs as well, very minimal fees. So there's a multitude of positivity flying through Proton right now. Absolutely phenomenal. The loan system that we talked about and the fiat integration coming soon as well. It's all systems go with Proton in my opinion. I think in the next few weeks, certainly throughout October, November, and maybe into December, we're going to see not only great, unbelievable numbers compared to where we have been with Proton in a short space of time, but the project in terms of roadmap will absolutely fly this project up and up and up. I think I saw some really interesting statistics about how high and fast it's been sort of moving up into the market cap's positioning, as it were. So I think actually, while we've got a few seconds, if I just quickly look how slow, guys, my internet is. This is why I need Helium, the H&T. I need Helium internet or something like Starlink. Who knows? Like, someone hook me up, please, because I can't deal with this nonsense centralized rubbish from Sky Broadband anymore. Anyway, Proton XPR ranked 428, guys. This was only 800, I think, maybe a couple of months ago. It is flying up the chart. And someone was putting in Twitter earlier, I think this is going to get to, by the end of the year, this will be a top 200 coin. And I was like, that's crazy. Are you sure? And it wasn't until I explored like where we have come from with Proton. It's absolutely sensational. I think it's a credit to it. I mean, look at all this on the side here with the statistics. Obviously the price has changed not massively in the last 24 hours, so we'll go into that in the chart in a second properly. But the trading volumes are phenomenal. The staking option is fantastic, of course. So that's probably one of the key reasons about it, but also the project itself being fantastic. The all-time high was 27th of April at 10 cents. So we've still got some time, some room in the tank to move towards that level. And I think that we will anticipate that for sure. There's so much going for this. It's unbelievable. We're looking forward to seeing how this all continues to progress. Do check out the website, do your own research, of course, on these projects before you invest in them. Generally, I think this is one of those really massive hidden gems still. No one's really talking about, and I think the more the awareness kicks out, the community's building, everyone's believing in it, it's just going to fly for sure. Let's take a look at the chart on that topic. If you're liking what you see, smash that like button for me, please, and do subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already, or if you're new, welcome aboard, and make sure you hit that notification bell to ensure you get notified of all the awesome videos we have coming your way. So let's go. We drew our little moon in here, if you remember, in a few videos back, to say that once we get here, I think that we will start progressing even further. We've done that. We had a nice retracement a couple of days ago. I mean, look at this, the lows of 0.011 to a high of 0.014 and then a close at 0.012. So that's a really interesting day of some profit taking, but in my opinion, it showcased also the strength of this project, because not only were profits taken, people took advantage of the drop that we did actually say. If you remember, we spoke about getting around the moon and perhaps coming down to earth a bit more before we take up again. And we even drew the sort of emphasis around that's leveling off and taking it up again. So we're right in this position here. We've seen resistance around this support line. I've changed the fib retracement slightly from the last video just to be in line with the data that we got here. And actually it's quite interesting because the high today of 0.017, not far off our little red line here that we got on the macro fib retracement on the side here at 0.018. So yeah, it's had a bit of a retracement today. A couple of things I'll be slightly, not necessarily massively cautious about, but of course with that wick dropping down so much, and we've got this nice little like hammer head, it's kind of like a reversed hammer. Just be cautious in the sense that that this might start not necessarily tailing off, but the sort of the push may slow down slightly. So if XPR Proton keep announcing things left, right and center on their social media, of course this will keep the price momentum going. But I just want to bear caution to people that are jumping into this video and going, wow, I've heard about XPR, I've seen these videos. Be cautious when you're investing, okay? Because we've already had this great run, and what you don't want to be doing is FOMOing in. So one, do research on the project, and two, really think about this situation. We can't give financial advice, obviously. We can only give like opinions, really. So there is a possibility that because the RSI is quite high now, there's a situation here where around about 80 RSI, which is quite high. So if you have been buying down at these levels and you're in a position to think, wow, I've made some great profits here, I need to take some, take profits, I think that's certainly a wise decision. But your game might be for a few years time. You might just be accumulating on dips. That's great as well. Just always try and take profits along the way, and you can always try and accumulate on drops as well with that. But just to put this into context, guys, 7 days we've jumped up 133% with very little resistance. Like I said, this day here on the 4th of October showed the biggest resistance level, and look at it. It absolutely rejected it, coming back up. Absolutely fantastic. The MACD here is getting wider and wider. The volume intake is coming in. But what I don't want to see is obviously, like we saw back here at the beginning of September, is this nice wave upwards and then a tail off and a bit of a sell off. And that's healthy. That's really good, because it means that we've got profit taking going on. So great success for those people. But look at this. The retracements aren't really massive along the way. It's annoying, of course, because you want it to keep going up, but that's not the way it goes. But the resistance is fantastic, and this thing's just showing strength and strength every day. So when I put on the title 133%, obviously that kind of hypes it up a bit, of course, in the grand scheme of things. But we've got to be realistic, guys. Like, this is a phenomenal move in a 7-day period. It won't go on forever. Of course, it could still carry on going up for a bit, because like I said, we are higher in the RSI, but some people like to wait for 85, 90, but particularly on this 14 RSI, this is phenomenal. If you were purchasing like 14 days ago, of course, it's absolutely phenomenal opportunity. Take some lovely profits here, and then accumulate potentially on some drops. So that's kind of where we are with XPR, guys. Where people say, where's the entry point? Well, that's difficult to say, depending on the sort of history of what we're looking at here. I mean, if we just draw this out a second. So as you can see, we've come from quite far, all the way down here. Beginning of September, guys. Look at that. Down there. Not even half a cent. That's mental. And we've had this nice rise up. We've had a nice correction based on a couple of Bitcoin days and things like that as well. Completely ignored them, essentially, and just carried on our way. So if someone's saying, where's my entry point? Well, let me just draw a couple in here. So let's say I didn't hold any XPR at all. But I do understand that we've had a very good, nice rise. It's not fully over yet, so we could come back and test this level again at 0.017, and if we can achieve a stabilization above this on a day or two's period, we could start accelerating up to the next levels. That's over 2 cents then, and we'll definitely surely see some resistance just before 2 cents. And not quite there yet. 0.017 is very, very much at that top end before the 2 cent barrier. So I do anticipate that we might try this again. You're going to see a battle around this area. When we hit that, we might come back down to some lower areas. So I'd be potentially looking at that sort of like maybe around this 0.014 mark, and on the other side of maybe around about 0.012. So it keeps it just above that 1 cent mark, and we're also anticipating that half mark as well. If we get to above here, what tends to happen on a run is you sometimes get up, between sort of 30 and 70% reductions. Now, as we're kind of entering like a bull run, as it were, over the next few months, that retaliation doesn't usually come until Bitcoin makes some gigantic moves in the opposite direction, of course. So we need to keep an eye on the Bitcoin chart as well at the same time. But that's where I would be putting certainly one of the entry points. And if we look historically, of course, we mentioned in April we were all the way back up here, but actually there's not much history to suggest many support lines at these lower levels either. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is that actually, depending on how much you're trying to accumulate or how much capital you've got to utilize, I would arguably be being cheeky here, try and attack the just under the 1 cent mark at some point as well, with maybe a small bag of stable coin or whatever you've got handy, just in case it does come over to these areas and these previous resistance levels. This is a level that we thought we would have some resistance at. It's shot through. We've come across to this new orange one here, and we've just about gone through it, and we're struggling in this area, and we're struggling to attack here. So I do think this is a good area for sure, and this one just as a cheeky one for sure as well. I think the price in general, like if you're looking at it long term, the price difference between sort of 1 and like half a cent isn't gigantic. Obviously you've got a gigantic number and volume in there, of course. In the long term it makes a massive difference, but I think in terms of investment right now, I think what you don't want to do is sting yourself at the top, right? That's the only opinion that I would give there. But what I'm saying is, like, in the long run, these prices, irrespective of where you're kind of buying them, it's very good in that aspect of long term. But if you're looking at short term, you're looking for options, I'd definitely be looking there again, as we've just passed that. But certainly having a cheeky one down here somewhere. I think what we'll do as well in the next 48 hours, see where this plays out. I might even put one lower based on historic data. But those two I'll put in there for now. Let us know in the comments below how you are feeling about XPR Proton. What are you doing with your XPR tokens? Are you staking them? Are you holding them? Are you trading them? What are you doing? And let us know, guys, what's your price prediction for XPR in 2021? Guys, I'm going to wrap that up there. This project is amazing. Absolutely love it. We'll see you in XPR on the moon. Take care and bye-bye.